This your boy Game for Daniel, aka Big T. And today we're going to be taking apart Carnage. So I'm going to be taking apart my scooter that I've had for a year now. And everything on this is stock. This bike is still running great. Very powerful. I still have no regrets with this bike after a year of owning it. It still runs very strong. Does good on gas. Plenty of power. There is a couple of things that I have experienced with this over the year. And that is, so if you guys want to see the link in the description when I unboxed this bike and had it shipped to my house and put it together, I will leave the link in the description. It's actually one of my highest top videos on my YouTube channel. It's got the most views and likes, and there's some dislikes in there. You know, people got their opinions, but it's my most views on my YouTube. And I just want to show you my opinion, what I think about this bike after having it for a year. So I have about 3,000 miles on this bike now. Does really good. And so there's a couple little issues that minor issues I've had with this bike. So the speedometer that reads on this is not accurate. So right here, the orange is the miles per hour, the white's kilometer. I read the miles per hour. So let's just say like I'm doing 30, right? Well, I have a app on my phone that tells me how fast I'm going. So 30 on the bike is actually 25 to 20. So it's about 5 to 10 miles per hour off than what it says. Let's say I'm doing 50. Okay, if I'm doing 50, then technically I'm doing about 45 to 40. So it's not accurate, but it says it can go up to 70, 75. I maxed this bike out tops at 60 miles per hour, which is still not bad. That's still pretty impressive for a 150. The acceleration is definitely there. You can tell from a 50 to a 150. The acceleration is definitely there. It's like 0 to 10 within seconds. Like, it's there. You punch it, it's going. But top speed about 60. So yeah. Another problem I've had with the bike is air filter. So this air box right here, bad design of how they made this air box. So as you can see, as I'm riding and I'm riding and I'm riding, eventually I get mud and dirt that suck up in this air box. And if you guys see, my hole is right here. And I've had issues where it would suck dirt, water, whatever, up in the air box. And it would shut the bike down. I've had it happen to me multiple times. And I'd have to take the air filter out every time and clean it. It's a little annoying. It's definitely annoying. And it's been doing it a lot lately with all the rain we've been getting around and shit like that. And this is my work bike, so I have to have it for work. So the design on the airbox is very poor, how they made that. If you live in an area where it's very dusty, this would not do good at all, because it literally sucks right under.
That's what she said.
Right up through here. And one more other thing, the battery on this, I got about a year out of the battery, and the battery doesn't hold charge very good. My stator, which is what charges the battery up and everything when I ride, works amazing. But the battery just doesn't hold charge like it used to. But that could just be because I have an amplifier hooked up to it now. So if you guys can see, I have a 4-channel speaker with an amp hooked up to it, but right now it's disconnected, so it's not draining my battery. So I don't know if it's from just hooking up the speakers to it, eventually just started killing my battery or whatever. which most likely it probably did. That's probably what did it in. But I disconnect it for now, because it was hooked up directly to my battery, so that was probably my problem right there. I tried to hook it up to the ignition, but I didn't want to cut the wires to that. So yeah, other than that, everything on this bike runs amazing. Still a strong, solid bike after having it for a year. Other than those, the airbox, the speedometer not reading right, and the battery, that's about it. That's all the little things I can think of. Pretty strong bike though. Oh, and it can only do 60. Well, that goes in the same category with the speedometer. Anyway, guys, the point I'm getting is everything on this bike is still stock, and today that is about to change. So today I am going to be getting rid of this airbox, and I'm also going to be getting rid of this exhaust. So my cover eventually fell off, the bolts came off and my cover disappeared, and I had some rattling going on with these. So my exhaust rattles. There was a piece right here that rattled, and I accidentally yanked it off, and it put a hole in my exhaust muffler. So I'm just gonna take this whole exhaust off and just get rid of it. It restricts the bike. Yes, it keeps it quiet, but it definitely restricts the bike. I think if I put an aftermarket exhaust, it will open up the bike a lot more, and I don't have to hear them pesky rattling noises off of this exhaust. So when you're riding, all these rattle and it's annoying. But yeah, I'm gonna be installing a new exhaust and new airbox. Recently just washed the bike, but every time I ride it, it's been, like I said, wet and muddy out lately, so I've been getting mud on it every time. So I just kind of gave up on bathing it for now until it stops doing all this raining. You guys want to know the brand of the amp? That's the brand of the amplifier that I use for the bike. And again, 4-channel, 2 in the back, 2 in the front. Decently loud. I will say it's actually pretty decently loud. Not really bassy. If you want like bass, you could set it up for bassy songs, but it just don't sound good. But loudness, it's there. Alright guys, so this is my first time actually taking this apart and actually looking in here. Yeah, it is filthy. So I'm gonna try to get this sucker all cleaned up in here. You got some of my wiring to my amp. Gotta get rid of that. Make sure that's not in the way there. Move some of these wires out the way. But yeah, as you can tell, that's dirty. So I'm gonna give this sucker a nice wash real quick, and then we'll install the airbox, which runs from here all the way to here. And looks like this is the intake. And this is, yeah, so we got a lot going on here, but I can install it right there. And this is the air filter I am going with. I am not going with the airbox this time. I'm actually going with a racing air filter. So I'm hoping that will fit right up in there. But yeah, that looks pretty nice. Should open it up a lot more. First off, I'm gonna take my best friend that I use for dust and see if this will clear it up. It might not though. And speaking of a scooter, that thing was loud. It's pretty caked, so I'm gonna have to wipe it. Alright guys, so right here is the air box. As you can see, it's dirty, and I clean it every time, but it just gets dirty and dirty on me. There's inside of it. If you want to get inside to the filter, you unscrew these Phillips screwdrivers. But yeah, that's the air box. I'm gonna keep it just in case, but we'll say goodbye to the airbox. So now that I have room, I'm gonna give the bike a wipe down and get rid of some of this dust and dirt debris before I install the new air filter. Alright guys, so I got it cleaned the best I could. So let's go ahead and install the new racing filter. So it's got different attachments, a case, just in case this don't fit. And just so you know, these scooters, the engines move. So when I pick this up, it moves the whole engine. And it's supposed to be like that case when you rev on it, the engine is on like a, kind of like a suspension. Like as you see. Yeah, it's pretty neat. Alright guys, so I'm having trouble. So this bar is getting in the way. So I can't get it in there. But I have a solution. Just to show you right there. So I have more, basically took it out. You can see right there, which it looks like it needs definitely wiped. There's the model of the carburetor. But yeah, this is the carburetor. So if I ever want to install like a racing carburetor on this, I can. But for now, I'm going to leave it stock. And just to show you, that's the carb. That's the carburetor. Okay, so that wouldn't work. My gas tank was getting in the way. So I have one more idea. If this don't work, then I don't know what to do. Ta-da! So I hooked it up to the hose that went to the airbox. So there we go. Figured it out. Alright guys, so I got it installed. You can see the hose running to the carb, to the air filter, and I'm gonna mount it like right up here. But if you listen, oh yeah, that opens it up way more. You can even hear it. So, figure that one out. And yes, guys, I'm pouring sweat right now. But, you can hear it. It sounds nice. Let's hear that one more time. Woo! Hell yeah. Next is the racing aftermarket exhaust that I got. So, it says Racing iStunt Modify. Let's go ahead and open up the box. So this exhaust cost me about $125 on Amazon. So here are that. Let's go ahead and open this. There is a bar bracket. Probably the screws. Alright, so that's what was in this. Stick this there. There's some of the piping right there. So I'll probably install the pipe first, but let's look at this muffler. So most likely the muffler's in here. Ooh, that looks nice. And it's got a dB killer in there. So the dB killer is something you plug in there to make it a little bit more quieter. You can take this whole thing out to make it louder, but I'm not gonna do that. But wow, that looks really nice. Heck yeah. Alright, so that's the Racing iStunt Modify. Let's go ahead and install it on Carnage. So here is my stock exhaust, and as you can tell, it's very rusted. It looks pretty bad. Plus, I'm missing the cover, and I got a little hole on the side of it. And honestly, I'm getting tired of the rattling noise, and I feel like a new exhaust will open it up more. Yes, I like the quietness of this bike at night, but I think it's time to get rid of this stock exhaust. Alright, so go ahead. 11mm. Do the same for this. Loosen it up. Alright, so I took out 2 bolts. One there, one on the bottom. That was holding the rest of the exhaust. So we'll go ahead and take it out. And here we are. And this fucker's heavy. Like, it's got some serious weight to it. But there is the stock exhaust. Like I said, look at it. It's in bad shape. Really bad shape. Alright, and we'll go ahead and install the new one. So we'll go ahead and put the pipe on first. Alright guys, so we'll go ahead and screw the exhaust on. Make sure it's nice and tight, but not too tight, or we're going to strip it. Alright, we'll go ahead and take the wrapper off of this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Rubber piece on this bracket here. So the exhaust and everything's on, but we don't want a lot of tension and weight weighing it down, because then it could strip out the threads going into the engine. You guys, so I have it on here the way I want it, and there's actually some nice clearance here. So I think you hook these, because right here it's just sitting here. It's just kind of chilling there. So I think you take this hook, and I think that's where this comes in play, so you can hook it. So we'll go ahead and take this hook. And when you're done, it should look like that. That way, yeah, that's definitely not going nowhere. Now, I'm curious, can I still... I'm going to have to turn this slightly so I can still get my... Yeah, so I can still get my dipstick out. There we go. Alright, I can still get my dipstick out. We're good. So this tool came in handy for them springs. This, I'm not sure what this is. And this is pretty much a bracket if you need it to mount it. But everything's hooked up. Let's hear what this new exhaust sounds like with the air filter. And then I'll eventually upgrade the carburetor as well. So kick it on. Oh yeah. That sounds nice. So we got a lot of vibration going on here. So I need to figure out a way of keeping that up so it's not moving. Because I don't need that vibrating. But yo, it sounds like a whole new bike. Oh my god. So that sounds pretty deep, and that's with the dB killer in it. So it's got like a thump, but it's not like too loud. Now if I take the dB killer out, then it's gonna be like twice as loud, but I'm not gonna do that because there's times when I go at work and it's like 4 o'clock 5 o'clock in the morning, so like I don't want to be waking people up with that. But it definitely sounds like it's going to open up the bike more. But let me figure out a way to keep it from vibrating. Alrighty guys, Carnage is all good to go. So got the aftermarket air filter on there and aftermarket exhaust. Woo! So we're going to take a test run on it and see how she performs. So I would get 60 out of it just stock. So if I can get faster out of it, that's definitely an improvement. Alright guys, so I'm on the bike and it sounds so much better. So as soon as I punch on it, I can feel it accelerating like twice as fast. So I feel like we're gonna get a better top speed on this. So stock, I would get 60 out of it. So let's see with the exhaust and the filter, how much performance it gives me. Oh yeah. I'm just cruising. I'm just cruising at this point. Shit. Damn, turn your high beams down. Fuck. That guy was blinding me. Oh yeah, you can hear the intake. Listen to the air intake. This is all uphill. I got my stereo on, but I don't got music playing, so that way you guys can hear the bike. It sounds so good. You be hearing me going down the street and you would swear up and down it's like a sports bike, but then you see as I get closer and it's a scooter. But it's crazy that my scooter is like I could definitely feel it's running so much better. Like it's running twice as better. I gotta watch because of deer. Hell yeah. Purrs like a dream. I can smell that like that new smell. I can smell it off the exhaust. It's like a brand new smell. But yeah, it was definitely worth $125. And it's holding me back. It's holding me back a lot better too. I got no hand steering this. Alright, let's see. See how fast I can get it. my goodness. Woo! Okay, that definitely opened it up. I mean, regardless, I was going down a slight hill, but Jesus, that was. I feel like I have a little bit more performance. So, mission accomplished. Carnage is running good. Listen to that backfire. It sounds so good. Sounds so good. Oh yeah. I love it when bikes do that. It's so satisfying. But alright guys, it's getting dark. I'm gonna head back home. Carnage is like, so again, my review on this bike is, if you see it on Amazon, I highly recommend you getting this bike. Even when you buy it stock, it's so good of a bike. And if you want to do mods and add more better performance to the bike like I did, then you have the options to do that. But overall, I love this bike. Had it for a year. Still the best bike I've ever owned in my life, and I don't regret it. Until next time, I'm out this thing.